Did that person, that Frontier board member pass away suddenly? Oh, okay. Either way, it's not good, but I was like, oh, that was sad. And I know I saw Davis recently and mentioned it to him too, because I know he was, and that's me. Um,
That's a calling here, buddy.
yeah, it is weird. Um, my voice is I hate it as it is, but yeah, that was sad. It was nice that the Sun had. I don't know if you get the Sun, did a nice article and like obituary, but unfortunate. I don't think no, no, we'll talk about that, but the town is in a position where, they say there's there's interest in offers. So I've heard that before. But on the other side, they want to extend the brokerage agreement. So I guess the brokerage agreement is timing up with Hunt and they want to extend that. So it's like, well, if there is that level of interest, but it would be nice to either like fish or cut bait with them. I mean, we have that kind of standing offer. They're I met with Beth Farrell this week, and she is mentioning 250. So I was going to bring it up in executive session. If we are interested in, I said I would revisit this again with the board. Would you be interested in upping it if that would, you know, I don't know if that's the number that will get it done with them or if they're going to use our number and then escalate. I don't think they'll get into that level of, you know, kind of stuff, nonsense, which can happen like in transactions, but I don't think the town would do that.
Yeah, building is the lack of access.
Well, I would be contingent on, not that we would ever do it, but like the long-term value, there's almost like a parcel next to us. I would imagine that was probably a house. There's that like a little bit of green space, maybe it's like 75 feet wide. I would want our property line, like this would be contingent upon that, like that, almost like I'd have to work out some language with you. And then maybe they'd have to update the legal description because there's only like 6 parking spaces. So if you got that parcel, it would add a lot more capacity, which makes the value of that. Yes, yes. So, and then we would need a town easement. So I would be contingent on that as well. Not that we would ever sell it, but you know. Oh, that's a good. Yeah, yeah. So, well, even with the easement, if that's like a recorded easement, sometimes, okay.
There's no.
But yeah, we're not gonna get a cut in on the state road.
Right.
So, yeah, so I'll throw it to the wall and see what you all have to say. I wish we'd just get it done. I'd love to get the sign out, the for sale sign down in front, because I think it hurts the chamber. Because they're kind of in some distress and like it's kind of, some chatter about town, and then you got a for sale sign up. It doesn't help. So I don't know. Hutchison should be here. Should we wait or start without? Do you want to mutiny?
We have a
Mutiny?
forum, I think.
Oh, all right.
Although, wait, we might need votes, right?
Well, we'll start. We start with our IGA meeting, so we'll get rolling. I'm good to get rolling. Wow, look how good they look with our new camera. Nice. Last thing I
We're
need.
doing it up close now.
Well, you know what? This is a new camera. I would love to like get some type of stand so we can get it a little further out. So. See, it's got great audio. We're going high tech here in 2026. So we'll get rolling with our Hamburg IDA Board of Directors meeting with roll call. Patrick Castiglia,
Here.
Marianne Costello, Cam Hall,
Here.
and Tom Moses, Andy Palmer, Jamel Perkins.
Here.
Excused is Plar and Valentin, and maybe we'll see Hutchison soon. And then we have Jennifer Strong and Mary Doran. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you. And can I have a motion to open the January 14th, 2026 Hamburg, New York IDA Board of Directors meeting at 7:36 a.m. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mary Ann. The first item on our agenda are the meeting minutes from December 10th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Cam.
Second, Jamel.
Thank you, Jamal. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Next item is the financial report from December 31st, 2025.
Okay, so looking inside your packet, you can see our gross profit for December was $1,910.58, with our expenses for the month totaling $33,569.98, leaving us with a net income for the month of $33,569.98. Any questions on that?
Motion to approve. Andy, and second by Mary Ann. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Thank you. Next item under correspondence, we did receive just an email inquiry comment about the corner of South Park and Souls, the old convent site that has been languishing. It is in your packet. The email, I cut out the email if you'd like to see it. Just because it goes into our, public records there. I didn't want people reaching out to this person, the citizen. But he just commented that the site is an eyesore. There's been a lot of development going on, which they appreciated. The space is neglected, and he was just hoping for some attention to the site. So I did respond, and kind of beyond this topic, I had a kickoff meeting with the new supervisor this week, and we talked about prioritizing some sites in the town and kind of working more collaboratively with the town to try to get these sites off to more productive use. And this would certainly be on that list. So in terms of working with the town, the liaison for the Hamburg IDA and the Land Development Corporation will be town board member Nicholas Ortiz. So I had reached out, got an immediate response. We're meeting he works during the day, but he was willing to meet in the evenings and weekends. So we're going to meet Saturday morning for coffee and an intro. So I'm very excited and enthusiastic about, so what? Well, it's great that we have communication. We really, I think we will be more productive as an agency, and the town will be more productive if we work, together to, hone in. I'm not looking at 15 sites. Let's get a short list of sites and really see what we can do to move some development there. So the engagement is there, and I think that's part of what we need to move forward. So this email kind of is very timely with that. So the plan for me is to keep this resident engaged, as to like where we are, and it maybe will spark some participation with the town. And I thought it was very appropriate, very polite. Often we get comments and it's just not productive or complementary to like achieving a task. So I thought this was great communication, and we'll certainly stay engaged as we try to do to keep people involved and up to speed as to what's going on. Next, I'd like to welcome Andrew Palmer back to the board. Andy, would you like an introduction?
Well, that will resonate, right?
Great to have you back.
Thank you all for the opportunity. Look forward to working.
They appoint you yet?
Yes, he is official.
Welcome back.
And next is Invest Buffalo, our 2026 sponsorship in support of Invest Buffalo Niagara. I have a motion. Oh, you know what? I'll do this and then I'll go on to my director report. I skipped that. I apologize. Motion to approve a $5,000 2026 sponsorship membership to Invest Buffalo Niagara. The funds are marked in the 2026 budget.
So
Thank you, Mary Ann. Thank you, Andy. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. On to my report. Sorry about that. We did do a little bit of refresh with the director report, so I'll walk you through that. Page 1 is complete. Page 2 is still a little in process of doing a refresh, and I'd like to do a similar report for the Land Development Corporation. Just kind of made it a little bit more quick to read. As we are in the first couple weeks of the year, we're not reporting any capital investment jobs, pilot payments for this year until those start going out and until we hopefully start having projects. And then the kind of roll-up numbers since 2018 are below that. As you can see there on kind of like the top third. The middle third is our kind of financial performance, like budget, revenue, spend year to date. That is from 2025 as we're closing out the year. Did our financial report through the 31st. Community support. In terms of hours of community engagement, I just want to speak that number is, a little bit higher than it goes beyond just me. So your engagement, generally participating in the board meetings, because I know you go beyond, Bob Hutchison serves on a couple of town committees with the IDA, and from time to time board members do other things. But, as best as I can identify and quantify that number and back it up, I include your time and efforts as well, because you are certainly part of the agency. So that is how that rolls up. And then going down, strategic sites and project activity, it's the same as we've carried in the past, just in a different format. And again, as we work more so with the town, they will drive, to some extent, those strategic sites there. So that may change as I've been working with the supervisor and with town board member Ortiz. Project activity, we have 34 active projects. I'm including that, which we have not in the past. Approved pending closing, that number is 0, but we have carried that. And then potential applicants. I am working through a potential applicant. I have a meeting later today. It's been postponed. The developer was sick with the flu the last couple of weeks, so it was kind of on hold. It's back in terms of process. So we may be sending out some kind of blocks for your calendar to potentially do a public hearing. Generally, what we like to do is do them the Monday before the next regular board meeting. Our next regular board meeting is February 11th. So we would be looking at the 9th potentially for a public hearing on the project. This would be a project on Jeffrey Boulevard. So it should be generally in line and not an Amazon project. So I think it should be fairly straightforward. But we would go through. I'm assuming the benefits will be over $100,000 and we'll be required to do a public hearing. So we'll get that going and moving forward, which is great. It's a great start to the year. Thank you to those who had attended the loan fund meeting yesterday with the Hamburg Development Corporation. But there's I don't know, like Tuesday, Monday, whenever I think it was Monday, we were back in the office after the new year, and like there was all this activity, this kind of flurry of activity the last couple of weeks. So that's great. Hopefully it's an indicator of things to come. This has been kind of in the works in the third quarter of last year, but getting an application on the docket is certainly something that we look forward to.
Sean, you open any questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Questions, comments, suggestions for sure.
So this middle section, will that flip to 2026? Or
Yes.
we're going to continue to look at storage?
No, that'll roll into 2026 as well.
And I think, it may be worth pulling this active projects up into the middle section too.
Okay.
Performance indicator, less, activity narrative. That's the rest of it.
Okay.
I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that makes sense. I
That's
hear
good.
you. Yeah, that makes- All right. And then the second page, again, the same but a different format, but I'd like to include some more graphics. Like I like putting our social media posts in there to kind of show you what activity we're doing. And let's see, anything significant on the community engagement side. Business development, an interesting meeting was Peter Marlette, Buffalo Pro Soccer, just kind of kicking tires. I met with him on any sort of potential of development in the stadium area. But there's, in his mind, as a subject matter expert kind of in this mid-level sports kind of category, specifically for soccer, but even more generally, there's kind of like a unmet need in our area for a stadium in like the 3,000 to 5,000 capacity range. So like capacity 3,000 to 5,000 people, mid-level sports. He feels like that would be successful in this area. Another thing he had mentioned that was kind of interesting, and as a guy with 3 daughters, like the level of that kind of B-level soccer, so not main level of profession, but that B-level, the women's here far exceeds the men. So there must be a lot of like high school and collegiate programs in our area, and the women's soccer level of play is much higher. So maybe that would kind of open the door to, like participation in a women's league.
You mean at like a professional level?
Yeah, at a professional level for the sport. So kind of interesting, and it does go in line with our, trying to work through the development plan for the stadium area. As you may or may not know, Orchard Park kind of approved their zoning law. My hope is that with the town of Hamburg, we have another meeting today, so I'll have a better idea after this evening, but that would be pretty close to going to, a public comment period. Like, so there will publish the draft law, so the legal process for that will hopefully move forward. I think we're pretty much done from a committee level in terms of refining it and commenting on it. So, the quicker, in terms of my comments to the supervisor, the quicker we can get that done and start working with potential investors, the better. So,
Did Orchard Park do anything about the two-story variance?
I think they are at 3 stories.
3 stories.
So, as our draft language stands now, we may have a competitive advantage with that.
Right,
I believe we
exactly.
will provide up to 5. So there are some advantages to, certainly to our site as I see, maybe a little bit biased, but, I think as we get the law done, and I'll work through with the supervisor who will kind of be the face to that. I think we should be in line with some common themes in terms of like height, like the height restriction, maybe a competitive advantage of ours. We are not the parcel in Hamburg is not separated by a roadway, so you can get to the stadium without having to cross Abbott. Right now I know Abbott is generally shut down, but some small things like that may often make the difference, in terms of like it's an A location or a B location. But then also, we're starting the conversations with the county on the disposal. We don't know how the county is planning on selling that site. So the town hasn't engaged the county yet. So, we got to get that going as well. So, I hope.
Who's obligated to move all that shit?
I would think that, I don't know. I don't know if it's the county's problem or I would imagine it's the owner's
Probably
problem.
the
I'm
owner.
thinking it's Pagula's problem. Just
But the
checking.
shale is not, the shale is on the county property, right?
Yes, yeah. And that my understanding is that is like staged there for backfill for the stadium. So once the stadium's demolished.
Right, I don't know what the timetable on the backfilling of the old
Yeah.
stadium.
No, I
They're not
don't.
being very transparent about that.
No. I mean, again, like we have not engaged the county or the state. So maybe we'll get a better idea on that. Yeah, but certainly, that needs to go. Television can make anything look like anything, but as you go to this beautiful new stadium, there are some,
Right.
you do see, so, you kind of look there and it shakes your head. The Jacksonville game, I mean, as you looked around that area, it looked like they were doing some level of active construction there too.
I know
There are all
the
these
thing,
cranes and things like that, but, hopefully they don't show this like literally rock pile, behind it, but, in time. So yeah, so more details on that to follow, but I expect that hopefully should be going public maybe even before our next meeting, which is timely. We need to get that moving. Okay, back to the agenda item. A reminder for the sexual harassment training. So to the extent Mary had put some information out there, that you need that, or if you can provide documentation through a volunteer group, your employer, we will be collating all that data. And, as usual, we'll be kind of rolling through our policies, our typical policies, reapproving our IDA and Land Development Corporation policies and procedures going into 2026. So I'm sure you all cannot wait for that. Mary also put in the package the IDA committees. And so in February, we will be looking to make modifications and reapprove members for our committees. So if you have any particular interest in serving, or if you'd like to change your level of participation and commitment to the IDA and Land Development Corporation in any way, please let us know. Executive committee, just so you all know, we generally meet monthly. So you would essentially have a monthly meeting and then a full board meeting as well. The governance committee, the audit committees, we try to get 3 meetings a year on the calendar there. So that's that level of commitment again. So 3 meetings, and then the board meetings, assuming normal operations. If something happens and we would need to ratchet that, we would do so accordingly. But that's kind of like the minimal level of commitment. And then chair, chair is a bigger lift, but I would say, you definitely have 2 meetings a month, and then I generally talk to the chair weekly, so probably a half hour, conference call weekly. And again, we get, if something happens or some big project comes up that could change. But that's typical operations. And then the last item I have on the agenda is a motion to modify the date of the November 2026 regular board meeting. And this would move it from Wednesday, November 11th, 2026 to Tuesday, November 10th, 2026, just due to the fact that the Wednesday is Veterans Day. If that works for everybody for that
Do you know-
change.
Do you know when the election day is there?
Oh, gosh. I didn't consider that. Let me see if I'm gonna look it up. That's a great point.
Usually earlier. Right? Yeah, usually. Sometimes not.
Election day 2000.
That was November 3rd.
November 3rd. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Good comment.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Cam.
A second.
Thanks, Jamel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Any call for executive session? And then a motion to adjourn the January 14th, 2026 IDA meeting at 7:56 a.m.
Motion adjourned.
Thanks, Patrick. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mary Ann. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next meeting is February 11th.
So did we celebrate the economic developer tag? Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, you missed that. Yeah.